Hello to all my booty seekers and cheek chasers. This is the Carpe Natem Podcast. I'm your host, Nate De La Hoya-Reynoso, and I am so grateful that you are listening to this episode. If you're new here, you should know that I believe that my purpose is to uplift, inspire, and educate others to communicate masterfully so that they can better understand themselves and others. I've spent years in the personal development and transformational technology space, and I want to share with you the wisdom that was passed down to me from giants in the industry. So if you're on a journey of self-mastery, just like me, looking to make dreams a reality and willing to be a leader for your family and community, then join me in seizing the butt cheeks of life and giving them a big ol' squeeze. Let's jump into the show. So continuing on with Think and Grow Rich. So I've read the publisher's preface and the author's preface, and even in the chapters before the real chapters, there's a lot of gold that can be extracted from the pages. For example, in the publisher's preface, what I gathered from what's written here is that to accumulate great wealth, what you need is thoughts, ideas, and organized plans. That's it. And it tells you up front, even before you get into the meat of the book itself, that in order to create wealth, you just need thoughts, ideas, and organized plans. That seems pretty simplistic, but normally the questions that plague us the most often have simple answers, and they're so simple that we overlook them. This book is literally trying to convince you that you can think and grow rich. And I understand that some people may view that in a way that seems like this is all hoo-ha and woo-woo, and it can be. Honestly, there's a lot of videos that I've been watching recently on the whole personal development space and how a lot of people are getting scammed in this space, where they're saying that some of the people in some of the organizations that they have joined ended up stealing money from their customers. The people who are consuming personal development are basically just fueling the machine and continuing this, what this person would call a scam, because what brings people in money are people who just consume content, just like it's entertainment, and continue to consume personal development without actually applying any of it or taking actions on any of the things that they set out to do. It's kind of like, in a way, it's a dopamine hit similar to cocaine, where people are doing a little bit of research, buying a new book, getting really hyped up on an idea, and then going 100% into it. Then it's rewarding in a weird way, where the person takes in this new idea, they feel revitalized, they feel energetic, they have this, quote unquote breakthrough, and then the next thing you know, they're still in the same spot, they still have the same struggles, they still haven't acted upon the thing that they wanted to do. And that is a very common struggle, one that I resonate with personally. Not only the idea that I consume more than I produce, and I'm right now trying to fix that balance by producing more and creating more content instead of just consuming content. But I also resonate with the idea that this whole industry has taken advantage of some people, but for a lot of people, it has helped. For example, it's helped me. It's helped my godbrother. It's helped a lot of close friends. I've seen people take lessons from these books and from these seminars and from these teachers and from these speakers, and they've ran with the idea. I knew one guy who got one idea from one event, and by using that idea, he ended up making somewhere close to like $100,000 in a day. What he used was a masterminding strategy, because he had a pool, because he had a community, because he had a reach with all these people. He took this one single idea and was able to 5x his business in a single day. Now, shit like that blows my mind, and it is also not the common occurrence when it comes to most people's cases. A lot of people, myself included, are just fans of consuming the content without doing any of the work. And I know some of my listeners may fall into this category. I hope that you are not only listening to me, but you are also taking action on the dream that you have. Like this book says, or like the publisher preface is stating, to accumulate great wealth, all you really need is thoughts, ideas, and organized plans. I wonder why they separate thoughts and ideas instead of combining them. They seem like they're the same thing. So I'm looking up the definitions, and for thought, it is an idea or opinion produced by thinking or occurring suddenly in the mind. The other definition is the action or process of thinking. Now I'm going to look up the definition of idea, and it is a thought or suggestion as to a possible course of action. The other definition is the aim or purpose. And then when I look up thought versus idea, it says ideas refer to a plan or a process that occurs in the mind in relation to the completion of a work or duty. Thought, on the other hand, is a mental process that keeps on going in the mind unabated. This is the main difference between the two words, idea and thought. So it seems to me that the difference between them and how to apply them is you have to have thoughts in your mind that are generally supportive of what you are doing. Thoughts are unconscious and ongoing. There's a level of attention that needs to be brought to your thoughts so that you can keep them in check, so that they stay positive, so that they stay realistic and motivating instead of negative and self-defeating. By bringing awareness to your thoughts, you can make sure that they maintain themselves in a way that is benefiting you. Now, for ideas are what humans use to envision what is possible. Ideas are the thoughts that we create and imagine, so that way in the future we can manifest the things that we want by imagining them in our brain, in our thoughts, in our mind's eye. We envision them. These ideas are created thoughts that plant seeds in our mind. Those ideas get planted, and the thoughts are like water. If we are nurturing the seed, if we are helping the seed grow, then that idea becomes something in physical reality. Now, how do we make something manifest into physical reality? This is where organized plans comes into place. Using organized plans, you are able to see your goal and break it down into steps. So let's give an example. I want to speak on more stages. I want to perform and speak all around the world. I want to be known in this industry as a thought leader, as a influence on up-and-coming motivators, speakers, podcasters, influencers. These are all my goals. Some of these can be obtained in 1 year. Some of these can be obtained in 1 month. Some of these can be obtained in 5 years. The other ones have to be obtained in 10 years. Whatever they may be, they have their different time schedules. Now, if I want to be known in the industry, I have to step up my speaking game. I have to create brand awareness. I have to become a household name, just like Tony Robbins, Ty Lopez, Gary Vaynerchuk. I need to be one of these big people in order to be someone impactful and influential. Now, how do I do that? So if I chunk all my goals down, like I said, I wanted to speak on more stages. What I could start doing as a small step is look up conferences that are happening in my area, places that are doing and holding events that are looking for people like me. I can call these places and email them and reach out to whoever I need to and offer my services for free if they allow me to speak on their stage. Trade time for value. I'm just spitballing here as an idea. Of course, I would look to see what I can offer if I have to pay to be on a stage, but then I could turn that around and turn that into customers or an opportunity to bring people into like a program or possibly just get new followers for the podcast. The idea is that I have a large goal now broken down into smaller goals and smaller, more easy to do tasks. Like to become a worldwide sensation is a huge, daunting task. But that is the idea that is planted in my head. The thought that supports that is that I will be that famous, well-known speaker one day. I will be that famous, influential podcaster one day. But the thoughts that I have are all supportive of that idea. Now, the organized plans falls into taking action, DMing people on TikTok and Instagram, reading books that will help me sell myself to events, to programs, seminars who are looking for speakers, whatever I need to do in order for me to reach those goals. I now have small, chunked down processes that I can work towards. Now, this works for almost any category. Say you're an artist, okay? You want to be a world-renowned musician. Where does that start? It starts by getting more people to listen to your music. Say your goal is to have 100,000 streams on Spotify. What can you do to increase your streams? Is it pay for advertisements? Is it DMing people? Is it getting on a playlist? Is it paying to be on a playlist? Is it making connections to find someone who can promote your music? Is it finding a manager? Now, the idea is that you want to be a world-renowned musician. The thoughts that you need to have to be supportive of this idea. And now the organized plans is what you will do to action on that idea. In combination of those three, you can obtain whatever that you desire. Or that's the end goal, right? For anybody who's trying to get into personal development, you want a better life, you want a better situation. That's why it's called personal development, because you are developing yourself and your environment to something that better suits you, that better serves you, that's more comfortable. Whatever it may be, you're trying to upgrade yourself. And if you are trying to upgrade yourself, I commend you. My heart is with you because it is a long, daunting task, and we all fall off. I've fallen off several times. But every time I feel like I'm lost, I turn back to these books and I turn back to these pages and I look at the notes that I wrote down and I see these ideas and I realize that the ability to control the outcomes of my environment, of all the results that I have in front of me, they all start in my head as an idea. And that idea is a seed that is planted in my mind, that is watered by my thoughts. And if my thoughts are supportive and loving, then that seed grows exponentially. When it comes to these personal development books, I wrote a note in the margins of Think and Grow Rich. You might not need everything in this book. If you read Think and Grow Rich, you might not need every single magical lesson that's in every chapter. You might not need every idea that's in this book. You might just need one single thing that you pick up, and that little switch of the light is all that you needed in order for you to make something happen, in order for you to progress, in order for something to really take off. All you needed was that one little thing. But who am I to tell you what that little thing is? I don't know what you need. I don't know if it's a swift kick in the ass or a loving and supportive hug. Whatever it takes for you to take action on the thing that you want to do, so that way you can be at your deathbed with less regrets than if you hadn't taken the opportunity or hadn't moved forward or hadn't broken up with that person in order to live your better life. You know, life is a struggle. You get to choose your struggle. You get to do what you want at the end of the day. You have the freedom in most cases. And yes, I'm not going to argue here with semantics of privilege and the hand that you're dealt. Of course, there's so many variabilities, but for most people that I have seen apply this type of thinking, for most people that I've seen use this type of manifestation practice to gain the things that they want in life, it doesn't matter if they're paraplegic, it doesn't matter if they're disabled, it doesn't matter if they are born poor or born with disfigurements or get a disfigurement in life. There's somebody who's gone through something similar to what you have gone through and has made it. And that's something that's always kind of motivated me to do more and to be more than I can, because I have the capability to do so much more. I have all 4 limbs. They're working. My health is fine. I have a loving and supportive relationship. There's so much that I can do because there are people that have way less and are doing way more. So I have nothing to complain about. You know what I'm saying? If there's somebody out there that has gone through something that you've gone through or something similar, some sort of tragedy, whatever it may be, and they've made it, then that means there's a way for you to make it too. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or carve out your own path. You can follow the path of others who have succeeded, who have gained the things that you wish you had. And you can follow their footsteps. You can choose to learn from these people, from these books, from these lessons. Or you can choose to not learn shit. You can choose to not want to participate in any growth. You can choose to continue living the life that you live. You can continue having the results that you have. I'm not here to tell you what you should do, but I hope that you can take some time to consider the possibility of changing some of your behaviors so that way you can get a better result than what you currently have. The book is called Think and Grow Rich, and I touched upon this in the last episode. Riches don't necessarily mean monetary wealth. You can be rich in love, you can be rich in friendships, you can be rich in experiences. It's your definition of what riches are that really determines what you're going to be going for. Maybe you want to be rich in the sense that you are there for your kids, that you can spend as much time as you possibly can nurturing your children without having to worry about the problems of the outside world, or as little of them you have to pay attention to as possible. Maybe being rich is to you freedom, to be able to do anything that you want to do, to not have to worry about bills and having to worry about who's going to watch the dog and clean the toilet and do laundry. Maybe you just want total absolute freedom. And there's ways of gaining it. There are people who are living not just their best lives, but better lives than most people will ever get to exist and witness with their own eyes. I've met wealthy, rich men who were poor mindseted and did not have the love or the connections that they desired, but they had all the monetary gain. Then I've met some people who were poor, who were wealthy, and love and connection and family and experience. So what you have in your bank account doesn't necessarily determine how happy you are, or doesn't determine the amount of drive in your soul. There's a lot of factors that contribute to that, but here we're just trying to figure out what your definition of wealth is. Truly define what you think being rich is, and do it to such an extensive detail that you fully understand and you can completely imagine 360 VR, but in your own mind, what it looks like to be rich, what it feels like to be rich, what it feels and smells like, what it sounds like. All your senses in your mind. Plant that idea in your head. What does it feel like to be rich, to be wealthy? For you, define it for yourself. Create that idea and plant that idea in your mind. That is where you're going to be. That is what you deserve. That is where you will end up. To turn what you thought in your head into a reality, that idea must be planted, and the thoughts that you have to be supportive, because it is a long journey to get to where you want to be, and it is much better to go through that journey with words and thoughts that are supportive, that are loving, that'll encourage you to keep going, instead of thoughts that are destructive, critical, and harmful to your progress. That seed needs nurturing soil and water in order for it to grow. And it will only grow if it's being fed nutritious and delicious food. And that food is your thoughts. I'm hoping I'm getting this idea across to y'all. That idea, plant it in your head, let it be vivid, and grow it with the thoughts that are supportive and loving to the idea. Once you have that thought, create action and create organized plans in order for you to do that thing that you want to do, in order to progress towards it. Take a step, take a half step if you need to. It doesn't matter. The fact that you're even doing it is what matters. The fact that you're starting, that you're moving forward, or maybe you already started and you fell off. It's time to get back on the fucking horse and move forward. Continue moving on, continue progressing. Remind yourself of that idea of why you started in the first place. Reevaluate your thoughts and bring awareness to them so that you know that the thoughts that you have are supporting the idea that you planted. And if you feel like you are not making progress towards the thing that you want, then reevaluate your plans. Make sure that they are detailed. Make sure that you understand the steps that you need to take in order to get to the thing that you want to get to. If you need help, ask for help. Find someone who is in the position that you want to be and ask them how they got to where they are. Look for books, look for mentors, get a life coach, get somebody to hold you accountable and help you think out of the box. There's so much out there for you that there's really no excuse to stop you from taking action on the thing that you want to do. And I hope some of the thoughts that you take from this podcast is that at the end of the day, the responsibility to make the reality around them the best possible reality, all that responsibility, it lies in your hand, waiting to be grown and cultivated by your thoughts and acted upon with organized plans. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Carpe Natem Podcast. If you love this episode, please consider leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Music or iTunes. It takes 30 seconds for you, but for me, it helps spread positivity to more people during these chaotic times. It helps build a community, and it makes me smile ear to ear. Speaking of community, we have a Facebook group at www.facebook.com/groups/Carpe Natem. Just answer the 3 questions to get access to some extra motivation and inspiration for your timeline. If you would like to support the podcast, screenshot this episode, share it to your story, and tag me in it at Carpe Natem 114. That's going to be my handle across all platforms, including TikTok. So if you would like to give me a follow, I would definitely appreciate that too. If you haven't already, please rate and subscribe to us on Spotify or anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. And lastly, you can find all episodes, linked to resources, and opportunities for coaching and mentoring from me at carpenatem114.com. I cannot thank you enough for spending part of your day with me. You are all rock stars taking the necessary steps to be your best selves, willing to do whatever it takes, and ready to grab life by the butt cheeks. So until next time, this is Nate De La Hoya-Reynoso signing off.